Oh, thank you all for coming. I've been listening in, just catching the vibe, and I'm really excited to talk to all of you. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen. So Andrew, could you help me with that? I was going to do a presentation. If not, that's cool too. I can talk them through it.
Yeah, I'll turn on for you right now. There you go.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. All right, you guys. So mine is more presentation style. I want to give you guys a little bit of a taste of who I am. Not only as an empath and as a sensitive, but also as a spiritual sales coach. That is how I like to channel my energy. So I want to invite you to this masterclass, Entrepreneurship Energetics, Make 10K Months Your Way. So I did see in the chat previously when we were talking about like what wealth are we wanting to manifest, a few numbers, but I would love to see like how many of you want to make 100K this year? How many of you are looking towards, I think I saw 30 million in the chat. Go ahead and drop that in the chat for me. And just so I can get kind of like a vibe of what we are going to go through. And I think the chat should still show up in presentation mode, but I guess we'll see. We'll find out. Okay, yeah, the chat does still work. Awesome. So yeah, anyone who's drop your number if you want 100K, if you want 1 million, if you want 30K, if you want 10K, if that feels like that's going to respond to your nervous system, drop that in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, you can feel free to DM me or email me any of your answers as well. This training is sponsored by Soul Centered Success. And just a quick outline of what we're going to get into today. We're going to do an additional giveaway. I know we're all giving away freebies, but when you ask empaths for one freebie, they give you two, right? Like that's just how we are. Oh, I'm seeing 500,000 in the chat, 400K months. Yes, Andrew. Yes. Okay. I'm loving this energy. So we are going to let me go back. Sorry about that, guys. We are going to do another giveaway. So I have a content creation meditation freebie that I did for one of my clients. This helped her create content on TikTok that was very authentic to her. She wasn't pushing for the algorithm. It's led to over 30K in sales. So I want to give that away to anyone who emails me or tags me on social media. I'll put my social media IG right here. So anyone who wants to get that meditation, just tag me or email me and I'll put it in your inbox. I think Andrea will drop the emails in a little bit. So we're going to go through the soul deep sales method because I strongly believe on connecting on a soul level in order to find those clients where we can best serve them and really support them in the process of them being them. I love people to get paid for being themselves. And then I'll talk about soul-centered success and we'll end with a Q&A with live coaching and or energy reading. I'll give you your option. I feel like this is more of an energy reading vibe. So if you're ready for a free energy reading that's going to tackle your manifestation and abundance blocks, please like stay to the end and let me know. So a lot of the times as empaths, as spiritual people, we are stuck in this state of not actualizing our ideas. We have a million that come in, a million downloads, and sometimes we're simply not actualizing them. We're not manifesting them. Or maybe we enter this stage of constant procrastination, usually fueled by overthinking, perfectionism, and imposter syndrome. So we're telling ourselves, you can't do that. My family has never done that. How would it be possible for me? Or what will people think of me if they see me taking up that space? So if you've ever felt like any of these align with how you're feeling, yeah, drop that in the chat. Yeah. Maria says, I am. And so we also have this tendency as empaths to undercharge. This is one of our biggest blocks to abundance. I will say it again. This is one of our biggest blocks to abundance is we believe that in order to be in integrity, we need to undercharge. When in reality, when we are undercharging, what we are saying is that we are undervaluing our purpose on this earth. We are saying like, thank you, divine source, for giving me all these gifts, but I don't really believe in myself. I don't really think my purpose is worth living out. So if you have, and when I say undercharging, I mean that you cannot make a living from your services because of the pricing. So just look at that if that's talking to you, and it's nothing negative, it's nothing personal. It's just something that you need to be aware of as you start to step into your gifts more fully. And then we've talked about this a lot on the summit. Negative self-talk is a huge sign of when we are holding ourselves back. And then I've noticed this with entrepreneurs who are spiritual, constantly switching niches. So, and this keeps this person, us, it keeps us broke when we do this. So I see this a lot if you're into astrology, and feel free to drop in the chat your sun signs if you know them. So if you're into astrology, this is very common with people with mutable sign placement. So I'm talking Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, Virgo. We will, yeah, Sagittarius, Ashley, you know, and Virgo, yeah. So you guys know, we'll switch up our Libra, fellow Libra, Maria. I'm also a Libra. We'll switch up our things really fast because we want it to be fresh. We see so many sides of things, and this is also common with air signs, honestly, too. And then also there's this element of being terrified that your parents will disown you. A lot of us, when we are entrepreneurs and, the spiritual black sheeps of the families, the cycle breakers, we have an unconscious fear that stops us from moving forward. And it's usually masked as perfectionism, honestly. And sometimes we convince ourselves, okay, intuition doesn't lead to financial success. It's for our white counterparts, or it's not for us. Like, they're gifted, they're great at marketing, but I'm not. So this is what you really want. You want to contribute to your household. You want to stop relying financially on others. You want to quit your 9 to 5 or your 3 part-time gigs and really just focus on showing up, being present, and serving from a place of passion. Yes, Virgo on the cusp of Leo with Gemini rising. We've been a triple threat of an add-on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of thinking that goes on, probably a lot of overthinking, Stephen. Let me know if that resonates with you. And so you also want repeatable, reliable strategies that work for your energy. You don't want to just be trying to fit yourself into somebody else's mold because they're more successful for you than you. And like, let's be clear, success is holistic, right? It's not in the money that you're making. It's also in the fulfillment that you're feeling, as well as service, living your purpose. And you also want to be paid for your passions and your purpose. You want more time freedom and location independence. You want community, a safe space with people like this, right? Who speak the same language as you. So let me know if any of these are really resonating with you, where you're feeling like, yes, I'm ready for something that makes more sense in my day-to-day life, that's really repeatable, that allows me to be me, that allows me to contribute. You feel free to drop it in the chat. Yeah. Ooh, Virgo with Sagittarius rising. Yes, an exquisite mix indeed. I'm sure you're full of ideas. Sun sign Aries, rising Cancer. Oh, so yeah, you're a made healer. I love that. And so you must be feeling a lot of the energies. And we'll go into some of the energies of that have like moved into Aries recently, because this is huge, you guys. So I'm a spiritual sales coach, speaker, author, certified freedom coach, and certified Reiki master teacher of over 10 years. This is my passion. I specifically like to I work with all people, but I'm very big on equity. My Libra sun is all about equity. So I like to work with misrepresented and underrepresented groups, especially. Like, I was that kid on the playground who always wanted to be friends with those who were neglected or just weren't receiving enough attention, for whatever reason. And that has continued with me for the rest of my life, where I'm just very passionate about helping the people who don't often get to be in the spotlight, but who have so much to offer. And so empaths are huge for me, sensitives huge for me, anyone who's walking a spiritual path. So I just use my energy reading gifts, my degree in psychology, and my love of astrology and human design, honestly, numerology, to create spaces for women of color to build up healthy mindset, have work-life balance, and create their business as I have, guided by their passions and purpose. But I'm really working with anybody who believes in equity. If you believe in equity, if you believe we all have a purpose, I would love to connect with you further. So how did I get here? This is me. A few years ago, I want to say 3 years ago during the pandemic, maybe four. My dog here is like protecting me, transmuting my energy. I was very sick. I've dealt with a lot of autoimmune diseases, so that's led to a lot of being bedridden. I spend a lot of my time resting and recouping. But so let me know if you've also felt that too. You're an empath and a sensitive too, Simone. And I'd be curious, how many of you guys have dealt with health issues? Because that I've noticed is very common for empaths and sensitive, especially when we are in an environment that doesn't quite understand what they're dealing with our parents. Yeah, so I'm seeing Brenda, I'm seeing Belinda, I'm seeing, yeah, Stephen. Yeah, we've all had that journey, right? And I think it's very important to recognize it doesn't mean that we're wrong inherently. It's something to get us to that next point, and it's something to understand us. And so my Taurus rising believes in a lot of comfort and a lot of nurturance. And so I've learned how to work with my body instead of work against my body. And so I used to charge $0 for 90-minute Reiki sessions because I love the work, right? And I would get swept up in the energy, but it wasn't sustainable for a living. And then I had no course or strategy that actually worked for me. I was scared to invest in my spiritual business because my husband was the breadwinner. I was not. And so a lot of perfectionism came as if a feeling of safety, and let me know if you guys have ever felt that, like you have to be perfect in order to be safe, in order to belong. Or if you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't invest in another thing because my husband will get so mad at me, or what will my parents think? Anything like that. Yeah. So we've got some people who are really resonating. And then it really can be difficult, especially when we can't find the support that we need. And people keep telling us, no, you have to do it this way to be successful. I'm here to tell you, you absolutely do not. There's success for everybody. So once I changed, I made 10K. And I'll teach you the strategies that I learned to do this. I made 10K in sales in 2 weeks. I signed $4,900 coaching clients. And now I know exactly which courses, coaches, and strategies will give me an ROI. And I understand that my authenticity is my greatest impact. So I'm going to move through these pretty quickly. So if you're on the replay, feel free to, screenshot. Same thing for if you're in present, feel free to screenshot just so that I have time to support you guys energetically as well. So my mission, of course, is to celebrate women of color especially, but empaths, sensitives, those who are here who believe in equity and supporting with your spiritual gifts, being authentic and vulnerable. We don't want to believe that this leads to lack of credibility anymore. We're over it. We don't want to do twice the work and be paid half as much. And we don't want to buy into this false timeline of if you were meant to be successful, you would be already. That's just pure ego. Also, we want to understand that just because a market may seem oversaturated with people who are different than us, that doesn't mean that we can't make a huge impact. And that you don't have to have everything figured out before you can have 10K months. When I made my first 10K months, I literally did not have an offer. Like I did not know what I was selling, but I had put myself out there. People saw my work and they're like, I want to work with you intensely. And I was like, okay, well, how do I format that? So that's a really big thing for the air signs. We struggle with formatting things. So if you're a Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, sometimes you can get a little bit in your head about that. Let me know if that resonates. So you might be in this draining cycle where you have all these downloads, you jot them down, you put in your notes app, maybe even film some content about it, but then you don't get any new sales calls, you don't get any new sales. Okay, Scorpio. So then you might have trouble at times, and let me know if this resonates, Monica, with like having people who are ready to go as deep as you go. Let me know. So then after you feel that you get that hit, but you don't get the sales calls, you're like, oh, let me get a new coach. Let me try a new morning routine. Let me get a new course. Still, nothing works. And you start to feel like something is wrong with yourself. And then next, you start to avoid the coaching portal, yeah. Or you start to go into perfectionism mode. You try to post 5 to 7 times a day. We all know that leads to burnout. And once again, no sales. Or maybe you start searching for a 9 to 5 again, or maybe you move in with your parents, or maybe you're getting multiple part-time gigs because you're like, ugh, this doesn't feel sustainable. I need a break. So let me know if you've ever been in part of the draining cycle, if that's resonating with you. And Monica, I did see that you said, yes, it can be sometimes difficult with like finding those clients who want to go deep. That's something that we can always work on. And I can drop my sales call link in the chat for you guys if that's something that you're interested in. Okay. And then these are some of my testimonials from when I first started my business. And some from since, of course. And so a lot of times as empaths, we think something's wrong with ourselves. You think something's wrong with you, that things haven't worked out yet, so they're never going to. False. Like this is false. I've worked with so many women 30s and upwards who they just, once they find their pocket, once they understand how they work individually, things just start to work fluently. Yeah, Monica, no clients, not yet. I want to say not yet for you. So we'll talk about how to get those deeper clients. So we'll just go over how it shows up, running on the social media hamster wheel, undercharging. We covered that. Million ideas that don't come to fruition. Tweaking on ChatGPT instead of talking to people. This one hurts my heart the most. Just talk to people in your community. And so the main solution that I'm offering today is to help you to use your self-trust, use your intuition, use your unique energy signature to make 10K on your terms. And so this is me again. I bartered to avoid rejection. I was bedridden for my autoimmune disease. I had a big pick me energy. Stephen, you're saying you don't know how to market the skills. You've been into your head with a plan. Stephen, remind me of your big three if you know them astrologically. I had a lot of pick me energy because I was in the entertainment industry and I was making about 2K a year from acting and working as a promo model and brand ambassador. And so after I'm getting paid to transform lives, I made 11K in less than 2 months, even when I was bedridden for several weeks. That was tough. I've been sought out for speaking engagements, summits, collaborations, podcasts, and bundles. It's been really great. And I'm using my strengths to show up and change lives, even when I'm not at 100%. Virgo, Libra, and Gemini rising. Okay, so there's probably a lot of self-criticism and a lot of wanting to serve other people at the highest level, Stephen, but then kind of maybe sacrificing yourself in the process. Let me know if that resonates. And Simone, you're saying you don't know how to market the skills too. Okay, we're going to go into that. Let's go ahead and like move into the strategies. Oh, thank you, Tara, or Tara. Look, please feel free to correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name. So Russ creates revenue. This is my favorite. This gets me excited. So Russ creates revenue, and I'm going to give you a few examples. In my own business, how this looks is my Fridays are called my unicorn days. So my husband and I each have one a week. And it's one day where we just get to be ourselves. So I spend the day connecting with the divine, however that looks to me that day, if that's taking a nature walk, if that's playing excessive amounts of Candy Crush, because it puts me in a flow state where I get my intuitive hits. I just let myself do whatever I want to do. And my husband, he supports me in that. If you are somebody who's if you are somebody who's single and still has responsibilities, no worries. It's just talking to your spouse and carving out that time for yourself. You love all the Venus energy, Libra and Taurus. Yes. Tara or Tara? Tara, I see. Okay. Thank you, Tara, for correcting me. And thank you, Stephen, for letting me know that it resonates. Travel is huge for us empaths. When we get out of our familiar energy, we'll just have insights like this, and you'll suddenly feel like, oh my gosh, life is so much easier. I also highly recommend traveling around eclipses. Kind of like something you won't hear a ton of, but I've had the most transformational breakthrough through eclipses and traveling around those points. Also, when you have the rest that your nervous system needs, you're able to recognize avoidance versus alignment. So sometimes we are like, oh my gosh, I'm procrastinating so much, especially shout out to the air signs and the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We will think, oh my gosh, I'm a bad person, I'm a bad business owner, I haven't done this thing. But in reality, you haven't done that thing because it's misaligned. So when you have the proper rest in your nervous system, you're able to delineate what's coming into the channel, if it's misalignment or if it's avoidance and procrastination. So this is one of my clients, Jessica. I'll just do the highlights. She uses unicorn days as mermaid days, which I really love. She's rebranded it. And I'm like, go girl. She was getting a lot of people saying she wanted to work with her, but she didn't know how. She hadn't signed a client or had a sales call in over a year when we started working together. but she was constantly posting, constantly, and she had a podcast and she was giving free coaching. So after we started talking about working together, she took 3 weeks off to go to Japan and she implemented her version of Unicorn Days, Mermaid Days. And now she feels really confident and comfortable offering a sales call from a place of service. And after 2 weeks of working together, she made 5K in sales. So proud of her. So the second strategy is play to profit. So this is really big for our Scorpios, our fixed signs, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and of course the mutable signs, but you guys are naturally prone to play, which I love. To play to profit, this is like, instead of looking at traditional marketing strategies, I think that especially for Monica, look at instead going to events, places, doing activities that you naturally enjoy, because your energy in those spaces is going to magnetize people to you who are ready to have those deep conversations, who are ready to pay to work with you. So that is something to keep in mind. If you are struggling with marketing, start going to places you want to go to. Start attending events like this, and you start to build up a community that's very easy to talk to, and it expedites the no trust like process because you have the same values and the same passions, and it just kind of like deepens that groove in your neural pathways more quickly. And it just makes networking fun and organic. It also warms up your leads faster. Yes, Simone. Yeah, it never feels right when we're doing traditional marketing strategies because it's not meant for us. And so that leads us to the next slide. Giving away your power to more successful coaches is what's keeping us broke. When we tell ourselves, oh no, we got to do it this way, we got to do it that way, we're actually shortchanging ourselves and shortchanging the path that we are meant to live, to lead. Because if you're here, you're a leader, you're a trailblazer. So this is one of my clients, Alyssa. She is the one who made over 30K by simply doing what she loves, astrology, tarot, and helping people heal relationship trauma. She also was the one with the content creation meditation. She created a viral series on TikTok if you want to check it out. It's called, I think it's called Zodiac Signs Acts of Aggression. So she also trusted herself to create and release her first course that's on track to make her first 100K. But she used to be terrified of being judged on TikTok for aesthetics because, you guys, Virgo placement, Aquarius sun. You see how it's showing up here? And she also wanted to prove she was an expert. We got that Virgo signature as well. And then she also believed she had to struggle to earn a living wage, which is something that we think have all internalized from capitalism. So let me know who you guys are resonating with so far. Do you resonate with Jessica's journey? Do you resonate with Alyssa's journey? Let me know in the chat. Alyssa, yeah. So support for sales. This is one of my faves. Support for sales. So this is when you're actually working with your brain, body, and your soul's blueprint. And when I talk blueprint, I'm talking about your natural energetics. I'm talking about your astrology, your numerology, your human design, all of those tools. Once you understand them, it allows you to take action from a place of empowerment. Simone, lol, I'm kind of broke with no job at all. Living limited doesn't feel nice. Welfare. So yeah, we really would need to do some work then around building up your abundance mindset, as well as reaching the people who already understand what you have to give. Because I'm not about like, I'm about low lift. So Taurus rising, like I want it to be easy. So it would be looking at your current schedule and how to actually slot in what I call money-making activities, which is usually just connecting with people and then offering them your services. So this is kind of what we're talking about. Small steps equal huge leaps forward. Work part-time hours for a minimum of 5 figures, and also like doing it in a schedule that works for you. So for example, if you know that you need to ground before you go out into the world, do that. If you know that you need to do yoga before you offer a sales call, do that. Like, don't make yourself wrong, basically. So this is a client and friend, Dessa. So she worked over a decade in Hollywood without moving her career forward, working multiple stressful jobs for free. She wrote award-winning scripts that never sold. And after we worked together, she became a development executive for a major production company that focuses specifically on her niche, which I love. And she has this flexibility to work throughout her week where she can spend time with her kids. She's got about, I think she's got 2 days off, Monday and Friday, completely free, and the rest of it is very flexible for her. She gets to spend time with her children, well, her child, and explore creative projects. And she's just received a residual check, an unexpected windfall of 6K out of nowhere. The place she was getting residuals from before was in the hundreds, and then all of a sudden it jumped up to 3K, and then she got a 3K gift. But this was all because she was in alignment with her specific energetics and giving herself the support that she needed. So just to recap, you might feel like you don't know how to run a successful spiritual business, but the fix is to develop your intuition and self-trust so that you know which strategies will give you an ROI and that work-life balance. So let me know in the chat which of these you need to implement. If you need to do more resting, I'm like looking at you fire signs, you fire signs and fixed signs, Sag, Leo, why can't I remember? Oh, Aries. Sometimes we forget to rest. Play. Do you need to do more play? Are you being too hard on yourself? That's usually our earth signs. Look at that there, and as well as our water signs. So Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And then, or do you need more support to create 10K months? So let me know if that's resonating for you. I can see that a lot of times in the mutable signs as well as the earth signs, they can feel a little bit self-conscious about supporting themselves. So I'm scrolling up. Okay, Simone said, what I have to offer doesn't fit for the people in the country I'm living in. Then I would recommend finding more clients online. And then Andrew, I think I need to play. I'm a Capricorn. Yeah, okay, for sure. Capricorns, we like to achieve, right? Like I have a Capricorn stellium, so I can speak on that. So playing, yeah. Once we start to allow ourselves to play, so much is freeing to us. Oh, your big three is all fixed signs. Fascinating. Yeah, definitely need to play. Support, said Ashley. Linda, all of the above. Love it, love it. Scorpio, yeah, get that support. There's no shame in it. I think a lot of Scorpios feel like you can't receive, that you're not allowed to. Oh, you got so you received it, Maria, intuitively before I even said it. I love that. More support, have been attempting more joy and play. Yeah, and Stephen, what might also help is like resetting your nervous system. That seems like it would be really helpful for you to recognize what is play again, because when we get disconnected, it can be kind of hard to find sometimes. Simone said, yeah, more playing as a Virgo, hear that. Capricorn are some of the most loving people I know. Aren't they the greatest? Like, I love Capricorns. My mom's a Capricorn. So this is just introducing soul-centered success. We work on offer design. We work on developing your intuition. I believe that everyone should have their intuition, follow their own intuition. I will give you my intuitive insights always, 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 but I'm always going to support you listening to your intuition, because that's how you can start to understand how it comes through your body, your brain, and how it shows up in your soul's blueprint. So we also work on connection and visibility. That's huge, because you don't need to do traditional marketing. You just need to connect. Work on time management, making everything fit in your schedule. Alignment, knowing the difference of like what alignment feels like in the body. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a hell yes in my body. For me, it's neutrality. For Jessica, it is self-doubt, funny enough. And for Alyssa, it is fear. So it shows up differently for each person, but once we understand how it shows up in our bodies and what it's tied to, especially in our childhood, we're able to circumvent the brain there. And adaptability and resilience. Ooh, we got a life path 6 in the house. I'm scrolling up, you guys. Scorpio, Sagittarius rising, Gemini moon, master numbers 1133, life path 6. I love a good life path 6. Yeah, you're all about service, Monica. So this is for you if you're tired of things that don't feel like you belong, like if you feel like you're just taking up space in group programs, if you want to stop wasting time on ineffective expert strategies, if you don't have high energy levels, like if you struggle with autoimmune issues like me, if you don't like social media, this is for you. I'm not a huge fan. If you keep hitting a plateau in your income, this is for you. And if you want to enjoy your money instead of constantly chasing the next sale in terms of like hustle culture, which I'm not about. And if you want your business to be based on your values and your gifts instead of like an arbitrary brand. So someone said, what do you recommend if someone still feels they don't know what their gifts are, or if their gifts are not developed yet to offer something? Paula, I have so many questions for you, because And maybe I know, Andrew, that I'm at time. So let me know if I do have a little bit of time to talk to people. If not, no worries. You can always email me. I know Andrew's dropped the link, or you can sign up for a sales call. Link is here. If you want to talk more in depth about your particular career, I'm always happy to do that. We have some very big transits that are happening right now that are all about being in the light as a spiritual warrior. Saturn in Aries, this is huge. This is all about building structure based on who you are at soul level. Neptune in Aries is about using your intuition and discerning your intuition, Paula, like discerning how your intuition comes through, because there are a million ways that it comes through based on your gifts and also your ancestry, honestly. And then we have Jupiter in Cancer, which is all about bringing that nurturing energy and expanding our healing gifts. So this is a great like transit, Paula, for you to utilize. Tara, you said big energy, new moon. I know. Set your intentions for July 24th. Yes, it's supposed to be very exciting. So this is just going over. We do energy clearing and goal setting, weekly calls, and implementation support. So we work on the call so you don't have homework. We do customized somatic practices so you can regulate your nervous system, and we do a work-life balance playbook so that you're not overexerting yourself. And you also have me for Slack support throughout. So if you get something energetically fishy, like I have your back, and I'll give you my own read on it. So Soul-Centered Success is 6K paid in full, split pay 3,500, and I'm offering a 48-hour bonus for everyone here. And you'll still get the 2 freebies, don't worry. This is the 30-minute financial flow energy reading that actually kicked off my career. It was super powerful. It's how I knew that I needed to be a spiritual sales coach. What happened was I was serving a BIPOC manifestation community, and I was wondering, okay, like is energy work really going to be viable for me? And I just tested out these sessions, and people went bananas. So people went bananas for them. And within 2 weeks to 2 months, they all had drastic changes in their careers. And so that's why I knew, okay, spirituality, energy reading, understanding the body, that is what's going to take people's businesses to the next level, especially as empaths. So thank you guys for taking the time to listen to everything. I hope that you guys got something out of it where you're understanding more of like the mechanisms of how you work. Andrew, I know we're at time, so please let me know if I need to cut it off now. That's a-okay. If we have 5 minutes, I can do a quick energy reading for somebody.
Yeah, you can
But
do or keep going for 5 more minutes. You're the last person. So if you want to go on a little extra, you can.
okay, so first person to write energy reading in the chat is who I will go with. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Energy reading, Simone. Simone, I saw you first. Okay, Simone, let's talk. So what is your biggest block when it comes to receiving right now, receiving and hitting your financial goals?
It's not knowing where to go, because everything came to a stop. I had to reevaluate everything because I think I did it with the conditioned intentions that aren't really me. And now it's like, well, I'm not sure where to go. And at the moment, it's not procrastination. It just feels like I'm waiting for something. So I'm working in the time. I don't know what waiting is, maybe the wrong word. It's like doing the work on myself.
Yes.
The other stuff feels like on hold, but honestly, it's like part of me as a human wants to know, hey, where am I going? And I don't know anything at all. It's like not getting answers. Is it
Okay.
still the healing part? Did it change? There's so much going on and no money flowing in.
Okay. So Simone, let's just go back to like you saying that you don't know you're like perceiving your gifts. Tell me, when you meditate, what is your experience? I'm guessing you don't get visuals.
I get everything. I use all my channels. I can see, feel, I know, and I hear.
Okay. So then the problem is not that you're not getting anything. It's that you're having trouble deciphering it and then honing it into a specific vision. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like what I thought it was really crumbled completely down. And when I connect and ask, I don't get my questions answered.
Huh.
It's
I
like, I'm telling you.
I'm intrigued because okay, energetically you are sparked as like in my mind, in my like how I'm sensing your energy, you are an extremely intuitive person. I feel like there's an unconscious part of yourself telling yourself no. And just like what I'm picking up, I'm not in your energetic field because I did not ask for permission. I'm just sensing energy around it. And sometimes this is a hard age for people to kind of remember, but I feel like something, and you don't have to disclose anything if it feels private, but I'm feeling like something happened around the age to 5 to 7 that really shut you down from being more creatively expressive.
Yes,
And you're seeing,
totally.
oh,
Yes,
sorry, go ahead.
yes, it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah. So,
I experienced abuse, so
yes.
completely shut down. I really lost who I was because I wasn't allowed to be myself anymore.
I'm so sorry that you went through that. I'm really sorry that that was your experience. I work with a lot of people. I have like a trauma informed certification on coaching. And so I work with a lot of people who have been through that trauma. And we work on helping them find their joy again, their authenticity again. Because, like, how I see it energetically is that part of you has not died. That part of you is just closed off in a dark room, which to me means that some of the qualities that maybe triggered your abuser, that they were put into your shadow. So now it feels like unsafe to access them. And this is the reason why you're feeling this like, oh, like I'm waiting, is because the child is waiting for you to energetically take it out of the room. That's what's going on there. Um, I did want to ask if you have any more questions before we close.
I did some work around my inner children because that stuff came up a lot, but it's like I totally miss that there is still something closed off. It's like, can't really connect with that. And I wonder why.
I'm going to say the best way to connect with that part of yourself is to do what you used to love then. Um, so like connect back to even if it's as simple as a coloring book, even if it's as simple as like playing pretend, like that's something that really frees up my energy. And I realize now part of why I went into the acting industry. So taking that time to be silly, because I feel like you don't let yourself be too silly either. Like there's what I feel is like there's like almost like a rigidness sometimes on how you feel like you need to present in order to feel seen and like a sense of belonging. So these are a few tips that I would give you. Um, of course, you can always email me, book a sales call with me, anything like that. I know I wasn't able to get to all the energy readings for today. So if you're interested, please feel free to email me. I think Andrew has dropped the link a few times, and I'll drop the link to a sales call with me. And there's no, what's the word? There's no pressure on the call. It's literally just us talking, seeing if we're a good fit. And then if yes, we can move forward. And I do offer payment plans in case anyone was curious, because I know that there are financial hardships that are going on, and I honor that and I respect that. And Tara, I like that you were saying if you can maybe extend a little past the 23rd for people to catch the new moon energy. That's so sweet. You know what? If you mention it in the call form, I'll do that for you. So like if you're watching the replay and you mention it in the call form, if you mention that new moon energy, yeah, I'll extend the bonus for you. I have no qualms with that. But thank you, Andrew, for this space. Thank you for the extra time. So sorry for going over, but I'm really honored to support all of you and to talk more to all of you in the future. Thank you for being here in this beautiful community, and thank you for creating it, Andrew. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here and for going extra. It was awesome to hear you answer the questions and to help guide people further. Thank you so much for giving us your time and for being here and for again sharing your magic.